Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Cap Social Network, aka Capri Social Network. So, in today's video, I wanted to talk about how Black women value wedding ceremonies more so than marriages of today. Because, and I could prove it, how many of you have been guests at actual weddings, lavish, I'm talking about inexpensive weddings, only for 5 to 10 years, usually after the marriage and the wedding ceremony, the bride, in most cases, to file for divorce. And on behalf of, in the most natural occurrence, irreconcilable differences. That's always the number one reason. And it's been known also how anytime couples divorce, the woman is always the main initiator of the divorce. When that being said, I'm going to show you some statistics on behalf of how not only much it is to have a wedding ceremony on behalf of a website by the name of the knot.com, but also why there are very few Black women where I let me rephrase that. Another website showing how compared to white women, there is a significant decrease in a number of Black women that are marrying. With that being said, this article on behalf of the marriage rate for Black women being significantly lower or exponentially lower compared to their white counterparts, their white female counterparts, is from the year 2021, which is roughly 2 years ago. On that note, I want to show you the average cost of a wedding on this site once again by the name of the knot.com. I'm also going to show you some clips, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of some actual footage from some wedding ceremonies with all Black women celebrating on behalf of the bride, the bride's big day of marrying. With that being said, I guarantee you that anytime, usually when it's a wedding ceremony and the brides usually has a bunch of bridesmaids, the majority of them are never married. Instead, the majority of them are usually single mothers, or as we say in our community, baby mothers. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them may have been engaged at one point only for them to call off their engagement. Usually, some of the bridesmaids that may usually partake in wedding ceremonies on behalf of the bride's behalf. And there are some who may have been proposed to only for them to reject the their boyfriend's proposals. And when that being said, it's also a well-known fact of how over 70% of Black American children are born out of wedlock. Otherwise, if Black American women believed in having kids before marriage, then it wouldn't be such an exponential amount of Black American children being born out of wedlock. I also wanted to add this as well. Now, I'm sure for you, some of you that have been guests and even partaken in wedding ceremonies, anytime it got that chance for the bridesmaids the or bridesmaid to toss the bouquet of flowers after she was to do her vows, usually with the groom, when any with either of the whichever bridesmaid that may have caught the bouquet of flowers just to indicate who will be the next one to marry, the next one out of all her girlfriends to marry. I guarantee you, most of those bridesmaids usually may put those flowers, those bouquets of flowers up for decorations in their homes instead of actually using them to marry women. Otherwise, the number of Black American children born out of wedlock wouldn't be so high. Anyway, and once again, I'm going to show you some statistics pertaining to this topic. First and foremost, on the average cost of a wedding, which in most cases, by the way, is usually a waste of time, especially on behalf of these couples, these Black couples. Nowadays, some of them don't even stay married for a whole year, even 6 months, which is even more messed up after spending so much money on weddings and getting prepared, after having to spend so much money on a wedding cake, on a tuxedo on the groom's behalf, uh, the wedding dress on behalf of the bride, and even going as far as spending extra money to get the dress alterated if the dress may not fit her right, that the exact way that it's whatever her size. And in some cases, the groom may have to use to get his tuxedo alterated as well, which is even more extra money usually. Have to be able to, in months in advance, sometimes years in advance, but do arrangements on where the venue of the wedding will usually be, which in a lot of cases is either at a church or on a beach. To add to that, you used to have to plan on where the reception will usually take place, which is even more money they have to end up spending, unless in some cases the parents may help contribute to paying for both the wedding and the reception, which sometimes they may do. However, and in some cases, if the couple may happen to be a pretty well off couple, that as far as careers go, for instance, the bride may happen to be a doctor and the groom may happen to be a pilot for an airline company. Therefore, they could just be able to pay for the whole entire cost of both the wedding and reception on their own, due to them being already financially secure. However, and in some cases, some of these women, some of you Black women will end up marrying a guy who can't even rub two nickels together, figuratively speaking. A guy that's from the streets, a guy that doesn't have a career at all. Instead, he may work a job every now and then just to be able to support his weed habit. If not that, then he may usually be a career criminal who gets in all types of foolishness and trouble, who's always getting locked up in jail. The main types of dudes, like I would keep on saying, like I have said in so many prior videos, the same and main types of dudes who you worship, who you admire, yet in the same breath complain about, and in most cases end up having kids by, getting pregnant by, and even marrying guys who in most cases can't even much get a regular job due to their criminal backgrounds. Guys who may have to settle instead, when they do usually get employed, may have to get a job working as a landscaper due to their criminal record. Especially they may have a criminal record as in the nature of murdering somebody. You same women cherish these guys who have nothing to offer for you. And that's one of the main reasons, just from my personal opinion and perspective, why so many of you Black American women are single, and why the majority of your kids, over 70%, are usually born in single parent homes out of wedlock due to your messed up choices and the types of men you choose. Anyway, let me proceed by showing you statistics courtesy of the website thenot.com, and another one on behalf of the ratio of Black women that are married compared to their white female counterparts. Now, it says based on couples' answers involving spend on ceremony reception, the national average cost of a wedding is $30,000, which is a $2,000 increase from last year's national average. Now, I'm going to exit out of here, stop sharing it, because that's all the information I wanted to provide. I'm going to go back to stream, y'all, and share my screen to give you the statistics of the amount of black women that are married, the difference, the significant or the exponential difference between the amount of married black women versus married white women. And I'm going to highlight it as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this here article is from November of 2022, which is just a year ago. It's not that old at all. Anyway, I'm going to highlight these 3 paragraphs right here, and I'm going to read them along with that, which starts out by saying new data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that 49.9% of the U.S. population over the age of 15 was married in 2021. But when we break the data down by race, there are significant differences. Significant differences. Nearly 54% of the white population was married compared to 31.2% of the black population. Only 27.5% of the white population had never been married compared to half of the black population. Some 34.4% of black men were married in 2021 compared to 28.6% of black women. For whites, 55.5% of men and 52.4% of women were married. More than 48% of all black women and 51.1% of black men had never been married. So, by this saying, right here, start out by saying some 34.4% of black men were married in 2021 compared to 28.6% of black women. And this is just my speculation. Don't take my word for it now, ladies and gentlemen. That means, and it's apparent, once again, this is based upon my speculation, that for the 34.4% of black men that were married during the year of 2021, roughly 2 years ago, that means that those same black men happen to marry outside of their race. And for the most part, due to how so many black women, black American women, have such high standards in a sense, but then again, low standards in another sense. And I say low standards because of the types of guys they choose to have kids by, like I mentioned earlier. The same types of guys that don't mean them any good, the same types of guys who can't hardly get a job, much less keep one, for the most part, due to their criminal records, guys that are usually convicted felons that may have done prison time on behalf of drug dealing, murder, running cons and scams on people. Those same types of brothers that black women would get with any time in the process of passing over black brothers that mean them some good, black brothers that had their heads on straight, so to speak, black brothers that want something out of life, that are career oriented, that are family oriented, that will make some of the best fathers, best husbands, the same ones so many black American women dog out and reject on a regular basis, to go out of their ways to be mean to, just because those black guys, those same black brothers may not have any swag, or may be, as some black women will consider them, as lames. Anyway, I'm going to show some. I'm going to show some, with that being said, some TikTok clips courtesy of 2 different women giving their perspectives, black women, on why so many other black American women are behind in marriage rates, Along with that, I'm going to show you some footage of some actual wedding ceremonies when bridesmaids celebrating, all black bridesmaids, that is, on behalf and to prove my theory on why so many black women value marriages. Excuse me, let me rephrase that once again. And I do apologize. Why so many black American women value wedding ceremonies over marriages. Anyway, let me share my screen and show the clips.
And when I was in my 20s, when we was partying up in our 20s, white people after college for the first 4 years after college, white women were going to weddings every goddamn summer.
Okay, so here's my question for you. In order for, say, a 20, 21, 25-year-old to have the mentality, the maturity, and the mental concept to know what it's like to deal with a high-value male, how common do you think that is in 20-something-year-old Black American females?
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Your presupposition is that you that woman can go out between the ages of 21 and 30 and go find something of value that she's going to bring to that man. I've already answered this question many times. What are you going to go gain in experience out there on the open marketplace outside of increasing your trauma and body count? Thank you. That's why you go from your father's house to your husband's house, because you leave from one provider to another. You have to come with the basic skills, and then you are being customized for your man. Ain't nothing you can learn about your high value man with your low value cock carousel riding.
You know, you're cutting out on some parts.
My point is, in Black America, Black women have such a fear of losing their independence in their youth that you wait too long to get married. And you can't tell me what of value you or a young woman is going to learn on the dating marketplace that she's going to bring to a so-called high value man.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's the majority, in my experience, the majority of, let's say, your typical young 20-something, mid 20-something-year-old Black woman has not learned a lot.
Good. She hasn't learned a bunch of bad habits either. This is why you look at it, and this is why you look at what men with money pick after they have their money. Men worldwide, culture-wide, when they have money, after they have money, if they get away from their wife, what do they pick? They don't go pick an older woman typically. They go pick a young woman. Why? Because young women still have hope. Shout out to Minister Jap. I'm going to use something. He's like, there ain't no hope in an old broad. He didn't use the word broad. He used another word. But the sentiment is the same.
Recently, a TikToker went viral for breaking down the real reason Black women can't get married.
Black women do not go to school with the intention of one day being a housewife or a homeschool mom or a private school mom or soccer mom or whatever. A lot of Black women go to school and their top priority is that education for that career.
The reason Black women can't get married is because they don't want to. She gave an example of how many Black women, which I can attest to, we are told when we go to college to focus on college, focus on our career, and in many instances, we are actually discouraged to get involved with a man, discouraged to get involved in a relationship, unless the dude is like a multimillionaire. And this is a fundamental problem. Men are looking for different things. Men are strictly looking for different things. They're looking for youth, beauty, and fertility. Other cultures recognize this. And again, this goes back to why there are a lot of issues with Black women in particular. We're not set up for success when it comes to dating and mating. If the reality is you're a woman who wants a man, then it's important that you know what men want. And men generally value youth, fertility, beauty. So why would you not engage with a man when you are most likely to be able to offer that? But no, instead of us being told that, instead of us being set up for success, instead of us engaging when we have our highest market value, we are told to wait. We are told to push things off. We are told to increase our body count. We are told to go and ride the carousel. And by the time we're ready to settle down, either many of those men are gone, they themselves are married, or they're strictly not interested. They may be going for women who are half their age. They may be going for women outside of the country, or whatever it may be. But nevertheless, a big issue is that in our culture, we're just not set up for success. Majority of us are born to single parent households, over 70%. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if your mom wasn't a wife, or your grandmother wasn't a wife, or there wasn't strong families around you, then therefore you don't know what to look for, and you just end up relying upon maybe what the bitter auntie tells you about relationships, but you have no vantage point. There's no preparation for how to even be a wife. There's no preparation for how to even be a long-term partner. There's no preparation for how to even find a good man. That doesn't really exist. But what does exist, however, is teaching women how to be independent and then encouraging them to engage in behavior that's going to leave them being single mothers. Wife culture does not exist. It does not exist in Black America. Again, if it did, then we would team our wives. And then by the time we get of age where it is of value, many of the good men are married off, or many of the good men, maybe they're looking for a woman younger, maybe they're looking for a woman abroad. It just becomes a lot more competitive.
What's happening to me? In the dark, can you tell me what it means? I lay my head on my pillow and staring out the window. And side by side is the reason why you're always on my mind. When I get a shot when I see you. When I see you.
His bridesmaid.
Now I had to end up reconnecting my microphone just then. Anyway, and on that note, if you were to see the last three clips that I just showed, all on behalf of bridesmaids celebrating on behalf of the bride marrying along with the bride, this proves my point, both my point and my theory on how Black American women, not all of them, but quite a bit of them, usually value, and I do apologize once again, wedding ceremonies more than they do marriages. And I also look at it from this perspective. On behalf of the ones who do marry, have actual weddings, and usually quote unquote tie the knot, most of them have no interest hardly in the groom whatsoever. Instead, most of them may marry the groom if the groom is usually financially secure due to his career. In other words, if he may have a career paying upwards to $200,000, in some instances more than that, especially if he may happen to be something by the likes of either an actor, or recording artist, as either a singer or rapper or an athlete. Most of those women are usually marrying those men due to those circumstances, due to their resources. In addition, the women that usually marry those types of guys that are financially stable and secure enough to provide for usually their brides, and in some cases both of themselves, usually have an ulterior motive. And what I mean by that is some of them already, some Black American women, once again, not all, I'm trying my best not to stereotype all Black women or generalize, but some of them, once again, ladies and gentlemen, usually have an ulterior motive to marry those types of men because they know they'll be financially set just in case. And in most cases, they may file for a divorce from those types of men that are usually financially secure and stable. And where in most cases they'll end up taking, if the guy doesn't sign well, I think it goes where if the guy may not sign a prenuptial agreement, she can end up usually taking all that he has for sure. And that's one of the main reasons why we have so many bitter Black men, so many, you could also say torn Black men. One reason why is because some of them ended up marrying the wrong woman only for the woman to usually take all of what they may have had, especially the guy, once again, is financially secure. And in some cases, the guy may have to start out all over from having so many thousands to, in some cases, millions, even billions of dollars to working a regular 9-to-5 job due to that one woman that he may have made a mistake and married, tied the knot with, who was only there from the jump because of his resources. Anyway, I want you guys, because I'm about to end this video, to first and foremost like the video, share it, comment on it. Also, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, you guys have a good one.